Hello and welcome to the Tarkis Zone. Here we are again in the game of Black Desert Online, and today we're going to talk about the guild interface. Well, that is the G key, or the icon down here in your tray of icons that the game gives you. Now this icon or the G key will not become available to you until you join a guild. And when you choose to join a guild or you're looking to join a guild, you want to look for your channel chat and your world chat. Most of your guilds will put their messages there, asking for players. Once you have chosen the guild you want to be in, then what you want to do is hit the G key, and it will tell you everything you need to know about the guild that you've just got into. Now, I know when you first get invited, there's going to be a contract that pops up, and that makes a lot of new players nervous. I'm going to go over that with you, and by the time we get done, you're not going to be nervous at all. You're going to be thinking, okay, this is a good deal. So here, I'm going to hit the G key, and you'll see I'm in control, CTRL. They have chosen to put their TeamSpeak information up in their notice box, which is here. And again, this is your first icon it's going to come to, the guild information. The amount of guild points they have earned, and we'll talk about that in a few, and how many guild points that they have available. Again, we'll get to that. This new feature that they added allows the guild to provide you with more detailed information about the guild you just joined. And it allows for this chat system, shout system I would call it, with historical information. So these are things that I have put in the other day. Anyone in the guild that clicks on here will be able to see these messages. Okay, that is this box here. The next set of icons that you want to look at is your declared status and your received status. There are many reasons for guilds to do GVG. Now, GVG is not all about, one person angers another and they start attacking each other. Some GVG can be planned because and I use GVG as guild versus guild for those people that are new to us. So the GVG that might occur might be one that was planned. Like say the Control Guild wants to PvP with another guild, to declare war on them is just simpler, because they become red to each other and you can practice PvP in a controlled situation. If you kill somebody outside of a declaration of war, you take karma reduction. And this video is not about karma reduction in PvP and going out and decreasing your karma. This is more about me trying to explain the guild interface. In the section being that just because your guild might declare war on somebody, that doesn't mean that there is an animosity between them. It could be planned so that they're getting prepared for a guild war. So the other tab here is your received, you declared, and you received. And in your received, you'll see that Controlled has received some declaration of war. Well, the thing with the system remains, if a guild declares war on you and they merge with another guild and they're still active members in the old guild, or it becomes what they call an alt guild, they might not retract their declaration of war. So in this situation, I think that's where we're at, is we get a couple guilds here that are no longer around. The guilds are still there. They just haven't decided to retract their declaration of war to us. Well, that's the way the system works, I guess. Okay, the next tab here is your member tab. This is where you'll show up in the member list. You can sort by position, by level, by class, by family, by activity level. I think those would be the only useful ones I could see. I guess if you wanted to look at people's numbers and how their energy and constitution was, you could use that. You can use that tab. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to me here. I sorted it by family, and I'm going to show you. This is what you're going to see when you join a guild. These two numbers are important. This is a total number of activity points you have accumulated for the guild. And this is the number of activity points you accumulated during your contract period. And that's that contract that I talked about in the beginning that's going to pop up into your face when, a guild invites you. I know that with many players, this makes them very nervous. And this is a bad way to introduce new players to a guild system. I mean, the game is quite complicated as it is. I think this kind of complicated it a little bit more and made new people nervous. But I'm here to tell you that once I explain what this is about, you won't be nervous. You can read it in full detail if you want. That's up to you. But what the guild is basically promising you is a daily payment as long as you're somewhat active. And in my case, they want to give me silver. They're going to give me 30,000 silver every day, as long as I'm in their guild. So they're paying me to be in their guild. But they're also asking me to do some participation. And to be honest with you, you will always meet that participation goal if you're somewhat active. I'm thinking anyone who plays 5 hours a week should be able to meet their obligation in guild activity. And I say this because you get guild activity for doing everything in this game when it comes to leveling. So if you level any life skill, you level a combat skill, you level anything that's levelable that's in this game, you get guild activity points. So for example, I've been in this guild a week. I'm going to close this contract and I'm going to go to my score. This is a score I've accumulated and I haven't done any guild missions with them. And I'm going to get into guild missions in a minute. But this is the number I accumulated just being active. And that meets the scope of what they're asking me to do. And I can, every day, every 24 hours, I can hit this button and gobble up my 30,000 silver. Now, I hit this button in a previous video that I did not like the outcome of, so I've created this new video. So I can't hit this button again for another 24 hours, but honestly, that had been the first time I hit this button since I joined the guild. 30,000 silver is very generous of Control to give me, but when you're number second in wealth on the server, 30,000, I'd rather have the guild have it, honestly. It doesn't make much of a difference to me. But it is generous for them to do it. And the other thing with the contracts is they can change. You can look. I think I can look at this person's contract, and it tells me what they're getting paid per day. As you can see, they're paying various people different amounts. And I imagine what any smart guild officer or GM is going to look at is, who's got my highest guild activity? I should pay them more because their activity reflects that they should be paid more. Now I'm all the way about in the half here. Again, I just joined about a week ago. But going back to this contract, don't be afraid of it. And the fact being is, like say you don't meet the activity obligation, it basically simply says they're going to pay you less. They're not going to pay you 30 a day. They're only going to pay you 15 a day. So you're still going to make money, right? It's just that you're not going to make as more if you're active. So that's the nuts and bolts of it. And unfortunately, there's no way to join a guild unless you agree to this. And they can make the contract to be 7 days, 30 days. It all up to, the people who, are running the guild, what they have their structure around. The next icon is the guild mission information. A general member will not be able to select a mission. Only selected people in the guild have permissions to do that. And when a guild selects a mission, this icon brings up your kill missions. These are all the missions you go out and kill monsters. And it might ask you to go kill 100 monsters. It might ask you to go kill 4,000 monsters. It depends on what mission is chosen. You see large, medium, and I imagine if I went to the next tab here, you'd see a small one. So there's different levels of these missions. Again, your ranking members of the guild decide which ones are done and at which time, which they've decided if they've got a schedule. The other thing about these missions is it costs the guild to do them. So this small kill quest will cost the guild this much silver. They get that silver from their guild bank, which is here. So once they've paid this, it goes active. And then the guild has 2 hours and 30 minutes to complete the quest. If the quest gets completed, then your reward is you get the deposit back plus more gold, depending on what the mission said, and you get guild activity points that go into here, this number. So it adds to your number of activity points. And as I said, for the guild quest we just looked at, it was like a 50,000 silver deposit, but you end up getting that back when you complete it. Plus, they end up giving you, whatever the quest said it was going to give you. It could be like 1,000,000 gold, depending on what the quest said, and that would end up here in the coffers. So what happens is, it's a system where the guild members go out and do these quests, and the entire guild get paid for it. And it shows the GMs and the officers who is active in helping the guild do those. This number is important because when it comes to the siege battles and node wars, items that we need to place on the field will come out of this revenue pot. And this is not about how that works. I'm just showing you the guild interface. So I might get into that later on when I know a little bit more about it. I'll do a video on it. But more money is always good. So the guild should do guild missions to continue bringing this up. That allows you to get your activity level, the opportunity to get your activity level up. There are other missions that the guild can choose. These are your gathering, fishing, and trading missions. These missions also, you buy them, and then they reimburse you the silver and much, much more to the guild coffers. Okay. So let's go to the next icon. This icon here, this is the next icon, sorry. So this icon here is showing what the guild has spent for buffs for their members. The number that we saw on the first page here, this 112 and 10 remaining. That is what this is about. What they've done is they spent points, leaving only 10 left, to buy into these global buffs that apply to all their members in control. And the top tier buff here is your accuracy +5. So right now, if you're in control, you will get that buff. It's global. It works for everything. You'll get this one, this one. Now, how a guild gets more points is each point you have to level to 100. And by doing the guild missions, successful guild missions gives you experience. So let's say the guild goes out and does a large kill quest and they complete it. They get a boatload of money sent to their guild bank. Their members get all that activity, and this might go up to 80%. And they go and do another one and it knocks it over 100 into 30%. Well, at that point, this would become 11. And then they can choose how they want to spend 11 points. They might be saving something that requires, like this one requires 20. So they might be saving that. So you could see that a guild would need to constantly have a guild mission, maybe twice a week or whatever, just a schedule so that they're getting done, so that the guild is always improving. And your active membership will show you, who's participating and who you need to light a fire under. And again, you've got casual players that play this game, so I don't know. I've only been in this guild a week. I haven't had anybody light a fire under me, so I don't think that's the type of guild control is. They just want to make sure you're having a good time. And here, this tells a lot about the guild. This is more PvP related that they've bought here. Again, it's going to help you in the PvE, player versus environment. But it's, this is very PvP heavy, because here they could have chosen to do life skill buffs. And because they haven't, it doesn't say that they're not into life skill buffs. What they're saying is their priority is PvP in a PvP game. That's just that's a little common sense. And if we go back to this icon here, I believe they even, they kind of put it out there that, we're really a community that just want to play the game, and we want to go out and be able to participate in all aspects of the game. And the node wars coming up Everybody wants to do that. And these buffs are going to help in that. Alright, so moving on. This is Node Wars related. I'm not going to go into any detail here. As a general member, you know, you can use this screen if you want. There's not much here that's going to tell you much. This icon here is your guild history icon. You can see the history of the guild. If you're into that, that icon's for you. This next icon, I do not have an ability to hit it because you have to be an officer in the guild. But if it was active for me, I would see a list of people that I could possibly, invite into the guild. Or, you whisper them and say, are you interested? The game system puts them in the list. It shows you those people that are close to you that aren't in a guild. So it allows you to kind of open up communications with them. And this last icon, again, this is more around the Node Wars in the guild halls and into that. This is all officer stuff. Really what you should be looking at is the first icon, the second icon, the third icon, only to see what's active. If you're in Medea 2 when they activate it, it's going to show up here in your quest. It's going to say guild mission active. Now, if you're in a different channel and you come here and it tells you there's a guild mission active and you don't see it here, then you're not in the right channel. You got to go to the channel in which the guild started the mission. That's very important. The next icon is your buffs. And really, it's those four that you really need to worry about. It's up to you if these interest you or not. To me, really boring, bland stuff. Well, I hope that helps you. And if you see anybody in control running around on Medea 2, wave to them like a madman and tell them that Tarkis sent you. Okay? Well, thank you for joining me. This has been the Tarkis Zone.